if you've ever wondered why 2 or 3 kids with the same background, the same parents, the same school, the same opportunity, and basically the same deck of cards dealt up to them, and you've wondered why they end up so different to each other, well, you're not alone. It's bamboozled psychologists for 150 years, and there's about 150,000 theories as to why. Obviously, this is the beginning of the old nature versus nurture argument, that being how much of a person's personality is derived from their genetics and how much is developed as a result of their life experiences. Well, that argument's going to rage on for years because it's really difficult to measure anything concrete in the field of early child development. Nevertheless, I often get that question, how come I'm almost like totally opposite to my brother or my sister when we're brought up by the same people, had dinner at the same table, etc.? Now, as much as I don't have any qualifications in the field, I can tell you that my clinical day-to-day experience points to the following. We can first of all observe without too much disagreement that people are either introvert or extrovert. Now, you could go on and further subdivide those 2 categories into about 1,000 other identifiable types if you wanted to, but let's resist that temptation because we end up down a rabbit hole that's just going to confuse us because there's too many choices. So, stay with me and consider, for the sake of a deeper understanding, that there's just these introverts and extroverts. Just for a moment, that is. When we ask introverts if they'd like a personality swap, meaning they could somehow suddenly become extroverts, they start to shake and shiver and imagine all sorts of horrible, embarrassing, humiliating consequences of being whatever they imagine extroverts to be. Now, this is not to say that introverts can't see the many advantages of being an extrovert. In fact, many an introverted person wish they could just jump up on the tables and start the dancing, or speak up and tell some bully where to shove their opinion, and vice versa. Ask an extrovert if they'd like a personality transplant so they can become an introvert overnight and the same look of horror shows up on their face. Whatever the extrovert imagines life as an introvert to be, it's enough for them to want to run a mile over broken glass in their bare feet. Yet, extroverts will freely admit that there are many occasions when they should have just shut up or kept their opinion to themselves or perhaps not rushed into something as quickly as they did. Once again, it's important to note that extroverts often see the many advantages of introversion will bring them. It's just that there isn't enough money in the world to get them to change camps. Over the years, as I've looked in from the outside on both of these camps, I've come to realise that personality doesn't take as much to understand as at first we might think. You see, first of all, I'm going to suggest to you that personality has nothing to do with who we really are. Personality doesn't show up as the depth of anyone. In fact, what personality really refers to is mainly what we're afraid of. Take, for example, your average rip, tear and bust personality. You know the person I mean, they make decisions quickly, they drive results, they've got enthusiasm, they see the glass is overflowingly full, they solve problems on the fly and they can't sit still. They're often referred to as crash or crash through, because they would rather gloriously go down in flames than not attempt the impossible. It's easy on the surface to say that's what they're like. And in fact, you'll hear them saying it's just the way I am, which is all fair enough until you start to look at the underbelly and discover that this person has as many fears as anyone. For a start, they hate indecision. If you dither around discussing what restaurant to go to, they'll just make a booking because they lack the ability to sit still and be with themselves. The fidgeting and the fussing and the pushing that they employ to get things moving indicates their serious inability to cope with things being allowed to develop on their own. Additionally, your average rip, tear and bust personality hates contemplation, stillness and introspection. Their hostility is usually because they don't like being with themselves. They're afraid that they'll find something that they don't like about themselves. When pushed, and I love pushing them, they'll admit that their greatest fear is that part of themselves that they hope is that they don't discover is actually so bad that it can't be cured. So hopefully that's a reasonable explanation of what I say about personality being only skin deep. Most, if not all, rip, tear and bust people have an outer shell that hides a marshmallow. Just ask anyone closely involved with them and they'll be full of advice about how not to take the bluster seriously, that there's a teddy bear on the inside. Obviously, the rip, tear and bust person is afraid of bringing that teddy bear out into the open for fear that it's going to be treated to a rubbishing or that they're going to get criticised or whatever. And think about it, if they were really as robust as they act like, surely they can protect that teddy bear. So, what's the answer? The conclusion? Personality is, first of all, only skin deep. Secondly, it's almost certainly a decision about a course of action that is the most likely to ease our way forward through life with the least number of bruises and scars. So there you have it. Personality is really our first line of defence in what we consider to be a scary and dangerous world. It's no more than a protective shield that has nothing to do with who we really are. The real question boils down to this: what parts of your personality no longer serve you or no longer serve a worthwhile purpose? Dumping them would do more than just set you free from what you turn out to be self-imposed limitations. It could transform you. That's pretty incredible. Nothing to do here, just some stuff to let go of. Better get on with it.